As we begin today, a gangland war is shaping up. Kolchak's narration takes us to a typical syndicate counting house.
Mr. Albert Berg, head collections man, a graduate of an Ivy League business school. He was an incompetent even by syndicate standards. The only smart thing he'd ever done was marry the boss's sister. Willie Pike, he'd never been convicted of anything by anybody except the boxing commission. Willie took a dive into the canvas and on through into the bulletproof car set. Willie was making a bundle he would never get to spend.
They have a heavy steel door with a huge wooden bar and a chain. Somebody's pounding on it. You guys realized the door hadn't opened yet and you were shooting at a steel plate? No wonder you couldn't stop whoever this guy is.
According to the police, Willie had died from severe blows. A gangland killing, no suspects, no leads. So what else is new? I got into the office before the other idiots arrived and banged out my story and thought I'd heard the last of it.
Oh, well, it shouldn't have been there.
What?
No food or beverages in this office.
That's Monique. She's the big boss's niece. She just graduated from journalism school, and she's determined to be a reporter for this news service. Tony is being extra nice today. That means trouble.
I'm starving. Let's get down to Maddie's, grab a cup of coffee and a piece of Danish.
The last time that you invited me out for coffee and Danish, I ended up in Sioux Falls, Iowa, covering a hardware convention. And the time before that...
Well, listen, can a man take a co-worker to coffee without being suspect?
Co-worker? The last time you called me a co-worker, I spent 3 days rewriting the obituaries because Charlie Creech was on one of his benders.
This time is no different. He wants something, and he knows it's going to rub Kolchak the wrong way, to put it mildly.
It's big, Carl. Really big.
Yeah, right up to here.
A police raid. Tax squad units. Syndicate burial ground.
When?
Sometime today. You'll be the first one there. It'll be an exclusive, Carl.
Syndicate?
Yep.
Exclusive.
Yep.
What's the catch?
She's the catch. She's going with him, like it or not. Needless to say, Kolchak is a knot.
I don't care what anybody else thinks. Listen, I know the malicious talk that's going on in the office about me. I mean, nepotism has nothing to do with it.
What?
Nepotism.
Nepotism.
Oh, that's right. Uncle Abe didn't go to the Columbia School of Journalism. I did. I'm fully trained and I'm fully qualified. All I need now is a chance.
She's about to get it. The police have a pair of syndicate goons surrounded in their barn.
James and Perry Russo, I'm ordering you to surrender at once. Open fire, all units!
Captain Leo Winwood and I had a relationship that was long and bloody, like the Crusades, only without the chivalry.
Which means he's going to be oh so delighted to see Kolchak. He'll be even more delighted to see Monique.
Get on! Get on! You'll get your head blown off! What?
Get that stupid female out of here!
This is about crime and killing. That's man's work.
No, wait, I got a better idea.
What?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what you do.
What?
What? They're going to run back here in this side here, you can get the shot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Look, get in there, honest. Yeah, you get inside there, you get some pictures.
Okay.
Oh, Uncle Abe is not going to like that. The gunfight ends as abruptly as it began, and for some reason the police aren't letting any press inside the barn for pictures.
Since I wasn't allowed in the barn, I thought I'd have a chat with Gordon Spangler, also known as Gordy the Ghoul, an enterprising fellow who tends the morgue. Gordy has struck gold in the land of the dead. He runs a lottery based on the birth years of the corpses he was hired to watch over.
If you buy enough tickets, he'll give you all the information you want, including stuff you're not supposed to know. He can't talk about the Russos, but he can talk about this.
Dr. Wedemeyer sent for this during the autopsies. Willie Pike, ex-boxer, ex-numbers dude. They brought him in 2 nights ago.
Yeah, I remember. I wrote about it. He died from severe blows, didn't he? Wait a minute. They call that severe blows?
There's severe, and then there's whatever he saw in that x-ray. Gordy can tell him one other thing, but he'll have to work for it. He needs help with that guy he just brought in. He's absurdly heavy.
They brought him in with the Russos. Now, here's the weird part, Kolchak. The This black guy we're gonna schlep?
Yeah?
We had him in here last week.
Wait a minute, what do you mean you had him in here last week? Dead?
Mm-hmm. As dead as 644 Magnum slugs can make you. But I never saw those slugs draw chicken blood before, and that's what that guy had in his ears.
Once again, I apologize for the synchronization problems. I've never figured out why my software does this to some DVDs and not others. I'm like a steer. I do the best I can with what I have.
Rumor has it that Willie Pike did not die from severe blows, but died by having his spine snapped. There's another rumor that says that the Russo brothers died the same way. Now, what about it?
Now, in terms of the corpses buried on the Russo farm, we have uncovered 6.
The captain won't answer him. He briefly acknowledges it when Kolchak mentions a third body, but he won't say anything about it and basically flees the room. How many of us recognize Nick Maggio, the brilliant doctor who created the face for the Invisible Man? Charles Aidman was in law school when a speech teacher had him try out for a play the drama department was doing. The acting bug bit him and never let go. Among other things, he filled in for Ross Martin on the Wild Wild West when Martin was too sick to work. Next day, our mystery man is being buried at city expense.
Hi there. Carl Kolchak in a minute news service. Is that grave over there for the body from the morgue?
Tell me about it.
Who are they burying?
They want union trouble. I could blow the lid right off. You know, it's against the law to put 2 parties in the same plot unless it's a family plot.
How do you know it isn't? Maybe this family is extremely unlucky. I don't think J. Pat O'Malley ever considered that.
2 parties.
They buried a party there last week. They're stacking them like they would be in a high rise to save money. Oh, what a mess to come back to after I've been out sick with the flu.
That's Captain Winwood. Why is he attending the burial of a random mystery man? Kolchak wonders that, too.
Tell me, why is a gold-button captain of the city's finest attending the burial of a black pauper? And who is this black pauper that was buried in this cemetery last week, ended up in Russo's burial ground yesterday, and then finally ends up in this cemetery today?
That was nice and smooth, but it's not facing the captain. Or maybe it is.
Kolchak, now you get out of here. Well, let me put it another way. If you continue to butt into this situation, you're going to find yourself pounding on your typewriter with casts up to your shoulders.
You going to break my arms, Captain?
Now, would I want to do a thing like that to you, Kolchak?
Only if you thought you could get away with it. If something like that happened to Kolchak, guess who the prime suspect would be? That's right, Vincenzo. Or maybe Monique.
Well, the black guy's a Haitian, up-and-comer in the numbers. Got it about a week, 10 days ago. 44 caliber magnums.
Yeah, the caliber I know all about.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You got that for free.
Yeah.
Well, his name is Francois Edmonds. Syndicate hit by the looks of it.
The question is why? What did he do to anger the Russos?
There's been a lot of flack in the past few months between the black numbers operators and the syndicate, according to my usually reliable sources.
Black numbers operators. South Side?
Nobody wants to let him play numbers on the South Side, at least not until he gets a lucky number to show he used to be one of Francois Edmonds' customers.
Yes, I'm Uncle Philly-man. What you want who gonna do for you?
I like a lucky number.
Lucky number costs $11 in advance.
You wouldn't be related to, no, of course not.
He was about to ask him if he's related to Gordy, but they're not related. They just went to the same academy.
Now, what you dream last night?
I beg your pardon?
Come on, man, tell me what you dreamed so I can pour in the bones and the corn and figure out the number.
He says, I dreamed about Francois Edmonds.
This must have been very, very bad dream. Your friend is dead.
Yeah, what do you use those for?
Dinner. Delicious with black beans and rice.
Some more customers just came in. Or maybe they're not customers.
You know who I am, Mr. Kolchak. Bernard Sweetstick Weldon. You once described me in an article as being the Duke of the South Side Numbers Fiefdom. An all-around civic headache. You remember now?
No, that's a mistake. No, that's my brother, Marshall Kolchak. He's the one with the big mouth.
Oh, well, in that case, go on about your business after you tell me where to find him. Antonio Fargas is another character actor who makes shows like this possible. He's done tons of roles, but he really made his bones in the 70s when he landed the role of Huggy Bear, nightclub owner and good friend of detectives Starsky and Hutch. His goons throw Kolchak out and tell him to stop chasing the story. Will these people never learn that when you tell somebody, anybody that, it makes them that much more determined? I guess not, because people like Sweet Stick keep doing it.
Bad as my problems were at that moment, they were nothing compared to those of Mr. Albert Berg. When news of Alberg's death hit the streets, a summit meeting was called between the big powers in the numbers operation. That's when I decided to pay a visit to the monk.
The monk is a shady character who knows just about everything that happens in the underworld. Since he hasn't taken a vow of poverty, guess how you can get him to share information with you? He knows who's going to be at the meeting and where it's being held. And after a $20 bill changes hands, so does Kolchak.
The Midtown Garage. A week before, it had been closed for renovations. A week before that, for rewiring. And before that, re-roofing and new plumbing. It was amazing to me that despite these constant improvements by the owner, Benjamin Spasato, none of its original quaint charm had been lost. At 8:21, the great purple bird arrived.
Sweet Stick isn't too bright. He goes for the flash, the glitz, the expensive trappings, and all you do when you behave like that is paint a target on yourself. Somebody is going to want what you have, and if you rub their noses in it once too often, they may find a way to take it. I didn't realize Kolchak wore glasses. Oh, right.
Ain't you got no air conditioning down here? This place stinks.
Why don't you make it fast? I gotta be at my granddaughter's ballet recital by 9.
You think some of my boys been ripping off some of yours?
That's right, Licorice Stick.
Sweet Stick.
Whatever.
Spasato will continue with the racial slurs. Welcome to the 70s.
Jerry here was at that counting house when that guy walked in. He was a coconut.
I admit that's a new one on me. I have a feeling somebody came up with it so they could do this.
And one of these days, Mr. S, some coconuts are gonna fall on your head, and it's gonna hurt.
Well, let me tell you what's gonna happen. Number one more of my people gets knocked off. There's gonna be coconut milk all over this place. Number two, I want reparations for the Russo brothers, for Willie Pike, for my brother-in-law. A quarter of all your numbers operation for the next fiscal year.
Make up a new slur so you can build on it from both sides. Clever. The meeting is done. Okay, Kolchak, quietly take your tape recorder back to the office and transcribe it. Did he miss the part where I said quietly? I have yet to see a pocket tape recorder that actually does that, but how else are we going to get him caught so once again he has nothing to prove what he saw? Sweet Stick destroyed one of his tapes, and these guys will trash the whole recorder. I hope Vincenzo gives him a good equipment budget. Right now he's just trying to keep breathing. He tells Spasato, I know who's been killing your men. His name is Francois Edmonds.
Well, Mr. Kolchak, you're partially correct. You see, that guy now lays in St. Lucie Cemetery, but it was a very nice try.
No, that's where they keep putting him. But I'll bet my life, and I'm not saying that loosely, gentlemen. I will bet my life that he is not there now.
He should have known who would end up doing the work, but our crusading cemetery caretaker isn't having it. Union rules forbid working at night.
Funerary Workers Association.
I wonder what the union will have to say about that. They've found the casket. As Kolchak predicted, it's empty except for one dead chicken and a bunch of corn kernels.
What kind of people are these people?
Your theory is that anybody connected with this guy's death is gonna die. Yeah, that's right, by having their spinal cords crushed.
Victor. You gave the okay on this thing, didn't you?
Yeah, but I asked you first.
Conveniently, Mr. Sposato doesn't remember that conversation. Not that it matters to Francois Edmonds.
Do something, stop him!
I'm not sure what he thought he was doing. Considering what happens next, he would have done well to run the other way. You know, away from the zombie. But he didn't. And despite his accusations that Sposato okayed the hit, Francois is done for tonight. The top man gets to live another day.
Grave desecration, 1 count.
Oh, mamma mia. Oh.
Suspected theft of corpse. The man involves several health law violations. The most serious problem is a homicide. We found Kolchak an arm's length away from a fresh corpse, Victor Friese.
A corpse that was killed the same way as the other mobsters, and he's not fool enough to think Kolchak could lift a full-grown man up in the air and bring him down over his knee hard enough to snap his spine in two. Right now, I think the captain is holding him out of sheer meanness.
Talk! Say something sensible!
You'll put me in jail for a year if I open my mouth.
Tell him.
I saw Victor Friese get his back snapped. I heard it crunch. And the man that did it was dead. Dead! And had been dead for over 2 weeks.
Winwood isn't buying it. They do agree that they didn't see Edmonds in the casket that was buried. The captain thinks a cult dug him up and stole his body. Kolchak will get himself thrown out of the room by actually using the word zombie. Well, it worked to get him kicked loose. Time to see the monk again.
Immigration listed no known relatives for Francois Edmonds, but the monk had his own listings. They included one Marie Juliette Edmonds, also known as Mamalois or Mamalois.
In voodoo lore, the Lois are spirits that interact with humans in various ways and not always in the best way. It's complicated and varies from one region to the next. If she's a practitioner who deals with the Lois, I'd tread carefully.
Come in, Mr. Kolchak.
Very carefully.
I see what you call job. You do not let him finish.
You have rum with lonely old woman?
No.
Light or dark?
Well, dark light, it's all right, Mrs. Edmonds.
Pauline Myers was another character actor who kept television interesting. She won't answer him when he asks how she knew who he was, and it's not hard to guess who that is in the photo. She says, I couldn't attend my grandson's funeral because immigration would catch me and deport me. So some fellows dug him up for her so they could burn his body according to their custom.
Yeah, well, I saw your grandson last night. He didn't look good, but he didn't look burned. He looked to me like one of the living dead, a zombie.
Oh, you go to the cinema too much, Sonny. I do not where you get this crazy idea. Why you come here to tell me this?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Kolchak asks why she's called a Mama Loa. He's heard of Papa Loas, but never a mama.
Practitioner of voodoo?
They call me Mama Loa because I can make little medicines to cure little sicknesses. You have any little sicknesses?
Sometimes my back hurts when I hear certain stories.
That went right past her. She whips up some kind of potion and tells him to drink it. I'm with him. No. In fact, he's having second thoughts about that rum he drank, but it doesn't seem to have been anything but rum. When he spots a dead chicken in her garbage, it's time to go snooping. He watches her perform the ritual, and at a certain point, she kills the chicken and drains its blood. Then she uses the blood to write something on that little box she was carrying. Notice the name right next to his, Winwood. That means the captain had something to do with Francois Edmond's murder, which means he's dirty, which might explain this.
Okay, Mr. Vincenzo. I guess we're gonna have to go over this place with a fine-tooth comb.
What do you mean, Captain?
Well, this place, it's old. A lot of fire laws being violated.
Where? Where? What's the matter?
Look, exposed wires.
That's only one wire.
Look here. Papers next to a hot plate.
Oh, well, I could get it.
Dirty fool, old man.
Kolchak says you need to brush up on how to kill a zombie. Legends, stories, video games, and movies have various ways to do so. In this instance, you catch him when he's dormant. You fill his mouth with salt and sew his lips shut. Then you light some white candles and put them around him. When they go out, the zombie is dead.
So far, this zombie has only killed people who were connected to his murder. That's why it's so important, Captain, for you to find out how to kill him.
And what's that crack supposed to mean?
You see that little knick-knack there, Captain? That is your coffin. And spelt in blood, chicken blood, on the top of it is your name, Winwood, W-I-N-W-O-O-D.
The captain asks why Kolchak has one, but I would hope that's obvious. Everybody wants to snap him in two.
I want that zombie story killed, or you're going to be hearing from Chief Langsdorff.
I meant to tell you, sewing the zombie's lips shut only works if the zombie is dormant. If he isn't, then you'd better have some white candles with you to burn while you try to strangle him.
I have a feeling cutting his head off would do it too. I doubt Mama Loa has a potion to fix that. Kolchak is heading out to a club where he knows Sposado is going to be.
Wait for me!
No!
I'm coming!
Get back, get back!
I'm ready for anything!
Remember she said that. Mr. Sposado was at a club listening to his latest girlfriend sing.
I didn't give the order, Mr. Edwards. I swear I don't remember anything about it. Gino, help me, please.
Or not. Kolchak and Monique are on the scene seconds later. Kolchak is taking pictures of all the bodies. Ready for anything, Monique is doing that.
Cab! Hey! Take it to Brooklyn, New York.
I don't want to know who's going to pay that fare. And she may not even be sure what's happening. But at least he's returning her to the place where her accent fits perfectly. He tries to follow the zombie without success. Where would such a creature go to lay low until the next time he's called? He's pretty sure he sees Francois on a bus, so he'll hop in his car and follow.
Hey! Wait!
Or he'll do that. If there's a harder way to do a thing, he'll find it. Too bad by the time the bus stops, he's lost sight of his target. But he may have an idea where he went. It's hard to see in that clip, but it's a wrecking yard. Lots and lots of empty cars where a zombie could tuck himself away for an indefinite period of time. Call me a pessimist, but I have a feeling this is going to take a while. Then again, Kolchak is already well known for his strokes of dumb luck. What better car for a corpse to be in than a hearse? Sure enough, Francois is in there, dormant. I've seen glaciers move faster. For reasons I can't fathom, he's terrified he's going to wake this guy up. But he's read enough to know that the zombie only awakens when he's called.
More Kolchak. More Kolchak. More Kolchak.
Like that. He has the salt in Francois' mouth and the candles are lit. Make with a needle, quick. Finish the job, and I repeat, do it quick. Never mind. We'll get a good chase through the junkyard, and suddenly our zombie can move as fast as Kolchak can. He gained that ability when Mama Loa switched from regular chickens to chicken nuggets. Remember what he said about lighting the candles while you strangle him? He just saved Winwood's crooked hide, and he can't even prove it. As we saw, when he went down, he sat on his camera. Instamatics were never made for that. Winwood will never stand trial for his part in the murder of Francois Edmonds, thanks to Kolchak's big butt.
Where's Monique? Her uncle's on the phone, worried sick.
She's in the cab on the way to Brooklyn.
She's in a cab on the way to Brooklyn. What? What'd you say? You're delighted? You didn't want to hear in the first place?
Then why'd he send her there in the first place? Reading between the lines, I have a feeling he didn't. She did it all herself and used his name to intimidate Vincenzo. Mama Loa is deported the next day.
Captain Leo Winwood was relieved of duty for, quote, reasons of health, unquote. Item: Francois Edmonds, the deceased, was buried a third time at public expense. A third time. However, this time, rock salt was poured in his mouth and his lips were sewn shut.
He has no proof, and city officials will deny it. But he says you can go dig him up and see for yourself if you really want to. This is Kolchak's lot in life, to save people from monsters and get zero credit. That's fine if you're a police officer or a firefighter or a Winchester, but he's a reporter. The credit is his bread and butter, literally. Without it, he doesn't get paid and he doesn't eat. And I think I've discovered another possible reason why the show didn't do better in the ratings. I mentioned several things in this retrospective that I only caught on a second or third watching because he talks so fast. And often when he's talking so fast, there's a good amount of background noise, so frequently it's hard to catch what he says. If you're watching on a DVD or TiVo or something similar, you can back it up and listen again. You couldn't do that with broadcast TV, needless to say. Had I been watching at the time, I probably would have given up on it 5 or 6 episodes in, simply because I couldn't catch a lot of what was going on. And bear in mind, this is after I got my ears bionically modified. If your character is going to talk that fast all the time, you have to make accommodations for the listener and tone everything else down. That's especially true when he's giving crucial information, such as the part about strangling the zombie. There was so much going on in that scene, the first time I watched it, I didn't catch that that was a way to kill it. It wasn't until a second watching, after I already knew how he killed the zombie, that I caught that line and said, oh, right, he did establish that. He was just talking 40 miles an hour and screaming. That would be why I missed it. Most listeners don't do that. A few simple fixes in the audio could have gone a long way. I'm okay with the screaming and carrying on. It's the person we've established, and it'd be out of character for him not to do those things. That's not the problem. If it were being made today, I could tell them what the problems are and how to fix them. That's assuming, of course, that they could afford me. She's okay. And she's determined to be a new report. It's going to rub Kolchak. When you tell that to somebody, anybody tell somebody, okay. With the law, I'd tread very carefully. I'd tread carefully. Come on. Kolchak and Monique are on the scene late.